Before the pyramids touched the sky, before the pharaohs ruled the desert, before Egypt became the greatest civilization of the ancient world, there existed something else, a forgotten people, a hidden civilization, a culture so ancient, so advanced, and so mysterious that most history books barely mention it. This is the story of pre-dynastic Egypt, the world that existed thousands of years before the first pharaoh ever wore a crown. A world of strange gods, lost cities, unknown kings, and unanswered questions that still puzzle archaeologists today. This is the civilization time almost erased, setting the stage, Egypt before Egypt. When we think of ancient Egypt, we imagine pyramids, golden masks, royal tombs, and mighty pharaohs ruling along the Nile. But Egypt's greatness did not begin with the pyramids. Long before stone monuments and dynasties, a much older society laid the foundation for everything that followed. This forgotten world existed between 5000 and 3100 BCE, long before written history officially begins. During this time, something extraordinary was happening. People were settling along the Nile. They were farming, crafting pottery, developing early technology, and forming belief systems that would later define Egyptian civilization. Pre-dynastic Egypt was not primitive. It was the blueprint. The Green Sahara and the first Nile settlers, 4500 BCE. Thousands of years ago, the Sahara Desert was not a desert. It was green. Lakes dotted the land. Forests stretched across the horizon. Animals roamed freely. Nomadic tribes lived here, hunting, gathering, surviving. But climate change transformed the land. The rains faded, the Sahara dried, and people were forced to move. They followed one lifeline, the Nile River. Along its banks, the earliest Egyptian communities were born. They hunted fish. They cultivated wheat, barley, and flax. They built mud brick homes and formed permanent settlements. These small villages became the seed of the longest-lasting civilization in human history. But what they believed and how they buried their dead reveals something far deeper. The Badarian culture, Egypt's first mystery, 4500 BCE. One of the earliest pre-dynastic cultures is known as the Badarian civilization. Archaeologists discovered their cemeteries and were stunned. Inside the graves were finely crafted pottery, polished stone tools, ivory combs, jewelry made from precious stones, and even copper blades. Centuries before copper was supposed to be common, their craftsmanship was shockingly advanced. But the greatest mystery lay in how they buried their dead. Bodies were placed facing west, toward the setting sun. Later, this exact direction would become sacred in Pharaonic Egypt, symbolizing death in the afterlife. This means Egyptian religious beliefs were already forming thousands of years before the pyramids. The foundations of Egypt's spiritual world were already alive. The rise of the Naqada culture, 3100 BCE. After the Badarians, a far more powerful culture emerged, the Naqada civilization. These people were not just villagers, they were builders of empire. Naqada wars, villages grew larger, pottery became more artistic, trade expanded. Naqada II, here the mystery deepens. Large-scale structures appear, stone tools improve dramatically, figurines of gods with animal heads emerge, falcons, cows, storm beasts, early forms of Horus, Set, Hathor, and Min. Egyptian religion was already taking shape, fully formed, symbolic, powerful. Naqada III. This phase changes everything. For the first time, kings appear, rulers who wore crowns, led armies, built elite tombs, used symbols that would become hieroglyphs. These were kings before the pharaohs. The enigma of the Scorpion King. One of these rulers is known only by a symbol, a scorpion. The Scorpion King was real, not the Hollywood version, but something far more mysterious. He ruled southern Egypt before 3100 BCE. His name comes from artifacts found in Hierakonpolis, including a ceremonial mace head showing him wearing the white crown. The carvings depict agriculture, warfare, and royal ritual. This king lived before writing fully existed, yet he used symbolic language that would later become hieroglyphs. Some historians believe he may have been the first ruler to unify parts of Egypt. His tomb is lost. His kingdom is debated. His identity remains unknown. Trade networks that should not exist. One discovery shocked archaeologists. Pre-dynastic Egyptians were trading across vast distances. Artifacts found in graves include obsidian from Ethiopia, copper from Sinai, lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, cedar wood from Lebanon, shells from the Red Sea. These trade routes existed thousands of years earlier than expected. How did they manage it? No written records, no known ships, no empires. Yet the evidence is undeniable. This civilization was far more connected and advanced than anyone imagined. The birth of Egyptian religion. Many gods of classical Egypt began before the dynasties. Symbols of Horus, Set, Hathor, Min, and Bat appear on pottery from 4000 BCE. These people practiced ritual burial, animal symbolism, ceremonial sacrifice, and divine kingship. They believed rulers were chosen by the gods. This was Egypt's spiritual DNA. Where did these beliefs come from? Some scholars suggest older Saharan traditions. Others point to influences from the Near East. The truth remains unknown. The first writing in history? Most people believe writing began in Mesopotamia, but pre-dynastic Egypt challenges that idea. Symbols carved in Tomb Uj at Abydos show numbers, animal signs, names, impossible administrative records. They may date to 3300 BCE or earlier. If confirmed, Egypt may have invented writing independently, possibly even before Sumer. This is one of archaeology's greatest debates, the unification of Egypt, 3100 BCE. By the end of the pre-dynastic era, Egypt was divided into two lands, Upper Egypt in the south, Lower Egypt in the north. Each had its own rulers, symbols, and crowns. Then came a king, possibly Narmer, who united both lands. This marks the official beginning of dynastic Egypt. But everything that defined Egypt already existed: language, religion, art, power. The pharaohs inherited it all. Pyramids before the pyramids. Recent discoveries suggest pre-dynastic people built ritual mounds, communal tombs, and ceremonial enclosures. Excavations at Abydos reveal massive structures made of mud brick and wood from 3400 to 3200 BCE. Some align with solar patterns, early astronomy, sacred geometry, architectural tradition. The pyramid builders did not invent their knowledge. They inherited it. Mysteries still unsolved. Even today, we do not know where pre-dynastic Egyptians came from, how their religion appeared fully formed, who their earliest kings were, how they built large structures without states, how they managed long-distance trade. Much remains buried beneath the sand. And every year, new discoveries push Egypt's origins further back in time. Conclusion: the civilization time forgot. Pre-dynastic Egypt is not a forgotten chapter. It is the beginning of everything. Long before the pyramids, long before the dynasties, long before written history, a lost civilization shaped the world we call ancient Egypt. Their names are gone, their cities are buried, their stories remain silent, but every artifact whispers the same truth. Egypt did not begin with the pharaohs. It began long before them.